Hi, I'm Susan LeBlanc, and this is Conversations with the Goodman School of Business. With me today is Kareen Brown, a professor in our accounting department, and welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you. So you have an interesting area of study that we're going to talk about today. It's something you hear in the news about all the time. The compensation, or sorry, I should say the, what's the word I'm looking for? Severance pay for company CEOs. And you hear about it all the time where somebody has been let go by the company and they receive these huge severance packages, and there's usually this outcry, but oh my goodness, how could that person possibly get so much money for being let go? And clearly they did a bad job because they've been let go, but you have a little bit of a different take on it. So yeah, why don't you sort of take us through what your research is and what your findings have been?
Okay. Well, severance pay, first off, is an agreement between a company and a CEO on the day that he actually starts working for the firm. And they agree upon how much money he would get in terms of cash or stock if he leaves the company without cause or for good reason, right? So as long as he does not commit fraud, or if the company chooses to move the office further away from his home and he wants to leave, then he leaves with all this money. In the media, it has been portrayed negatively as payment for failure, because typically these CEOs leave after net income has been falling for a while, and so they leave with a huge package, but the firm is not doing well.
Right.
And so there is a big concern about it.
Right.
And so, I looked at it and I sort of wondered, why would firms give these sort of packages? So I searched through economic literature, and interestingly, one of the main reasons for earnings management is because CEOs fear termination, right? So because net income is such an important number, the CEOs tend to use the accounting accruals to make the income higher, so they look better.
Right.
And so they're not fired.
Right.
And so I was thinking, if the severance package could lower that termination risk so the CEO feels safer, could it reverse earnings management? So the thing about earnings management is that it hurts the firm because the CEOs end up overproducing, lying with the numbers.
Right.
And that's not good for the shareholder.
Right.
And so to the extent that there is a package that could somehow reduce this, I thought would be interesting for stakeholders to know about. So what I look at is S&P 500 firms, and I sort of separate these firms into those who pay severance to their CEOs and those that don't.
Right.
And what I find is that the CEOs who have the severance pay don't lie as much with the numbers, but very interestingly, they don't commit as much fraud. And that was an interesting finding.
Sure. It sort of goes against what everybody, what you would think, right or wrongly, that just the assumptions people make.
Yes.
So that's really very interesting. So in a way, these are a good thing.
Okay. Well,
or it could be seen as a good thing.
It could be seen as a good thing.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that overall it's a good thing,
yeah.
right? Because, there is this idea that you need to be linking pay for performance. You want to do that. But to the extent that earnings management is destructive to the firm, that it reduces that is actually a good finding, yes.
Yeah. Now, I'm sure there have been cases where it wasn't the case that somebody had a large severance package and was not doing things quite correctly. I'm sure that happens as well.
That happens. And the media tends to highlight those cases, the egregious cases, the cases where, like, Rob Nardelli leaves Home Depot with $223 million.
No.
You see those cases.
Yeah.
But if you look at the data, for the average firm in the United States or in Canada, the payments are much more modest. And so, we tend to focus on the outlandish cases. But on average, these are not as, the packages are not as great, and there are benefits there.
Right. So the bottom line, I guess, is that they do work.
They do work.
And that, so we shouldn't be so, I guess, quick to judge when we hear these things.
That is exactly correct.
Okay. Is there anything else, any other issues that you saw along the way with the research? Or?
With the research, we also looked at risk-taking. And we did find that it did increase risk-taking. But again, the point of the package is to make the CEO comfortable.
Right.
Comfortable enough so he can do the things that shareholders would want him to do.
Right.
It's like a kid with a cookie, like you steal a cookie.
Right.
Right. If you think you're going to get spanked, you won't tell your parent that you stole the cookie.
Right.
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 But if you know that it's going to be okay,
Yeah.
then you're going to be more forthcoming. And I
Right.
think that's sort of what we want from firms. We want them to give good disclosures. We want them
Right.
to tell the investor exactly what's going on in the
Right.
firm, and the packages help to do that.
Oh, that's great. Well, thank you so much for coming by. I think I've got a little clearer picture of it anyway. And I won't be as quick to judge next time. I see. So that's great. Thank you so much for coming by, Kareen. And thank you for joining us. Do check out some of the other Brock podcasts. There's Consider This and the Brock News. And hopefully we will see you next time. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.